The death certificate for Queen Elizabeth II has been released. Produced by the National Records of Scotland, the document confirms that she died of old age. Joining me now is our correspondent, Dan Johnson. Dan, at 96, I mean, that seems, not going to be coming as a surprise to people, but the document does give a bit more detail. What does it tell us?
It doesn't tell us a huge amount of how the Queen died, what she died of. It simply states old age. It doesn't give any underlying cause, any more detail than that. So perhaps people who are hoping for more of an insight there may be disappointed that there isn't more detail here. It does tell us that the Queen died at 3:10 in the afternoon on September the 8th. Now, if we think back to the sequence of events that day, there was a statement at around 12:30 UK time that day saying that the Queen was unwell, that she was under medical supervision. We know that her son and daughter, then Prince Charles and Princess Anne, were with her at Balmoral Castle at that point. But that was the point where some of the rest of the royal family were trying to travel to Balmoral to be with the Queen. And it looks like, from the confirmation of that time, that people like her other two sons and her grandchildren weren't actually there at the moment that she finally passed away. But the other thing you take from this document, it's a public document. Everyone would register a death in this way, and the Queen's family have had to do exactly the same. So you get details like name, Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor, occupation, Her Majesty the Queen, and it states her date of birth, the details of where and when she died, and just that most basic detail that she died of old age at 96. One interesting detail, apparently if she died in England, she wouldn't have had this sort of form. She was exempted as the monarch from the Registration Act, but that didn't apply in Scotland. So it's the fact that she died at Balmoral Castle in Scotland that means that her daughter, Princess Anne, had to go to the registry office, complete this form, and that's why we have this bit of detail into the last day of the Queen's life.
That's a fascinating facet there of the implication of the fact that Her Majesty died in Scotland. And people will continue to be fascinated, captivated by the royal family and by the Queen's legacy in particular. And we're seeing that in Windsor, where the public can now go and visit her final resting place.
Yes, the headstone that was engraved where she's been laid to rest alongside her parents and her late husband, Prince Philip, that chapel in St George's Chapel, that particular part of the chapel is reopened today as part of Windsor Castle reopening to visitors as it was prior to the Queen's death. So people are able to visit the castle, that particular chapel, and the actual resting place where the Queen now lies, something that visitors will be able to take advantage of if they want to continue paying their respects now that the official and the royal periods of mourning have both now ended.
OK, Dan, thank you very much indeed for that. Dan Johnson there, our correspondent.